is being recorded. All right, namaste and good morning to everybody. So let's recite the verses first, and then one verse at a time. I'm going to give you the meaning of these, okay? So there are 9 verses which we recite before we study Bhagavad Gita, and this is a tradition in every ashram. So in these verses, we are you'll see when you know the detail that how we are giving our respect to Rishi Vyas, to Lord Krishna, to Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay, so it's good to know what we are reciting. So let's recite the verses first. Om Parthaye Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayan Swayam Vyasen Grathitam Puran Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrit Varshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayani Am Tvam Anusandhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatu Yeshine नमोस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुधे कुल अरविंद आयत पत्र नेत्र येन तव्या भारत तैल पूर्णः प्रज्वलितो ज्ञानमया प्रदीपः परपान्न पारी जाताये तोत्र वेत्र एक पाने ज्ञान मुद्राए कृष्णाय गीता अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोगदा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर भोगता दुग्धम गीता अमृतम महत वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेन वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधन अवर्तने सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवै रन्नदी कवर्तका केशवा पाराशर्य वत्सरोजमलं गीता अर्थगंधोटकं नानाख्यानक केसरं हरिकथा संबोधन अबोधितं लोके सज्जन षटपदे रह ते पिये मानव मुदा भूयाद भारत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसी न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुम लंघ्यते गिरिं यत्कृपात्मः वन्दे परमानंद माधवम् यं ब्रह्मवर्ण इंद्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्ये स्तवे वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानवस्थे तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्य अन्तं न विदुषु असुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. So let's start with the first one. Om Parthaye Pratibodhitam. Parth is Arjuna. Pratibodh, that's enlightenment. So with which Arjun was enlightened? Bhagavata, by the Lord. Narayan, by Narayan. Swayam, himself. Vyasen, by Vyas. Grathitam, incorporated. Puran Munina, by the ancient sage. Madhye Mahabharatam, in the middle of Mahabharata. Advait Amrit Varshaneem. Advait is a non-dual philosophy. Amrit is the nectar. Varsha, Varshaneem means the shower. So the shower of the nectarian Advaita philosophy, non-dual philosophy. Ashtadash, that means 18. Adhyay name chapters. So in the form of 18 chapters. Amba, that is like a Amba, the mother, blessed mother. Tvam, you, Anusandhami, I constantly meditate. Bhagavad Gita, oh Bhagavad Gita, Bhavadveshi name, destroyer of the sansar. That means the rebirth. Okay? So who is this mother? Mother is Gita. Om, O Bhagavad Gita, with which Arjuna was enlightened by the Lord Narayan, and which was incorporated in the Mahabharata by the ancient sage Vyasa, the Divine Mother, who is showering the nectarian philosophy of Advaita in the form of 18 chapters upon you, O Blessed Mother. I constantly meditate. Anusandhame. Why? Because you are sure the antidote to the rocking experience of change. What is this rocking experience? Coming back and leaving, rebirth. He says, from this philosophy, from this Mother Gita, we learn how to find our ultimate goal. So that's why we are saying, so these verses we are saying, these are our words. This is what we need to get out of Bhagavad Gita to reach our ultimate goal. This is not just a book we just recite and read and memorize. Bhagavad Gita teaches us equanimity, both in our personal life and our activities in the external world. When we learn to balance this inner and outer, then we can just climb up on this ladder. Bhagavad Gita helps us to bring tranquility within, no matter what is happening outside. But a tranquility within we must have. And Bhagavad Gita also explain the art and science of doing actions skillfully and selflessly. So we learn all of this from Bhagavad Gita, and that's why we are calling it a mother. Mother is the one who gave birth to us. Mother is the one who taught us how to live. Mother is the one who showed us how to do our actions properly. So now we are saying Bhagavad Gita in the form of the mother. We are learning all this from you, the art of living, so that we can climb on this ladder. And I meditate on you. Normally, our mind is scattered, disintegrated, exhausted. So when we are sitting down and studying these verses, make our mind focused, calmer. There is a finer adjustment in our mind. So we repeat these verses with reverence. When we repeat these verses with reverence, we are expressing our adoration to the Divine Mother Bhagavad Gita. So in the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, that's what we are doing, expressing our love. Then in the second verse we say, Namaha astu te vyas vishal buddhe. Nama means salutations. Astu means be. Te means to you. Vyas is the author of Bhagavad Gita. Rishi Vyas. Vishal buddhe. Buddhi is the intelligence. Vishal means mighty or mighty intellect. Full Arvind Ayat Patra Netar, with the eyes like the petals of a full blown lotus. Okay? The eyes like the petals of a full blown lotus. Yen means which, Tavya by you. Bharat Tail Purnaha, full of Mahabharat oil. Tail means oil. Prajwalitaha, lighted. Gyan Maya, consisting of knowledge. Pradeepaha, lamp. Salutations to you, O Vyas, O mighty intellect, who has eyes like the petals of a full-blown lotus, by whom was lighted the lamp of knowledge, filled with the Mahabharata oil. The whole Mahabharata is written by Rishi Vyas. So we are showing our salutations to not only the book itself, but we are prostrating to the author also, Vyasji. We cannot easily bow down to anyone unless we are convinced that person has the qualifications. The person deserves our reverence. So that's why over here the merits of Rishi Vyas is mentioned in this verse. We are saying mighty intellectual. He was completely tolerant and he held his infinite love for everybody. If you know the life story of Vyasji, you will know that. And not only the intellectual might he had, in this verse we can see that this great wise seer had physical beauty also, compelling charm also. Full Arvind Ayat Patra mein, beautiful eyes, serenity. Whenever we use the word lotus for somebody, that means there's a depth of serenity in that person. And there's a magic of some mysterious love in that person for us all. And he has contributed substantially to the gains in the happiness of the community from his writings, whether it's the Vedas or Mahabharata or the Purans. Then we are saying in the next verse, Parpanna Parijataye. That means Parijataye, another name for Parijat tree is a Kalptaru, wish fulfilling tree. Okay, Parpanna Parijataye, the tree of fulfillment, that is the bestower of desires for those who take refuge in it. Excuse me. Totra Vetra Ekpaneye, who holds a cane to drive cattle in one hand. Ekpaneye. Pani means a hand. Gyan Mudraye, the holder of a knowledge of symbol. Gyan Mudra. Krishnaye, Krishna. Gita Amrit Duhe, the milker of the Gita nectar. Nama means salutation. So in this verse, we are saluting Lord Krishna now. So salutation to Krishna, who is a tree of fulfillment. That means who can fulfill all our desires. That means that there's no desires left. That kind of a personality Lord Krishna is. But only those who surrender unto him. Who has milked the Gita nectar? The holder of Gyan Mudra, the wielder of the cane in one hand, with which he drives home the herd of cattle under his protection. So over here we have an invocation stanza in the name of Lord Krishna, who is a special guru in this scriptural textbook. So unless we have a respect and a reverence for the teacher, it's impossible to practice and live ourselves the theme of these discourses. So when we are saying this verse, we should just internally thanking Lord Krishna also. Because when we want to become what we know, we need the presence of an ideal teacher who has this very same perfection in him. And when we look at Lord Krishna, that's what we see. If our mind keeps on finding faults in the teacher, then we cannot learn. So when we are saluting Lord Krishna, the perfection we got to see. So salute Lord Krishna, the Guru in the Gita dialogue, who can fulfill our desires once we take refuge in him. And Gyan Mudra, you all know the symbol of knowledge, where we are symbolically telling ourselves that what my goal in life is like this. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, I am the soul who wants to merge with God. So, this symbol itself gives us the goal of our life, shows us the goal of our life. So, Gyan Mudra is described uh, in many, many scriptures. But over here, we are saying that Lord Krishna is showing us this Gyan Mudra. Okay? See, self in us, index finger. Index finger. That's what symbolically it means. And the God is represented by the thumb. So that's why connection between the index finger and the thumb. Then let's look at next one. Sarva Upanishadaha. All the Upanishads. Gavaha, the cows. Dogda, the milkman. Gopal Nandana, that is Lord Krishna, Gopal Nandan. Cow herds son. You are all familiar with the Lord Krishna's childhood stories, how he grew up okay, among the cows. Parth Arjuna, Vatsaha, the calf. Sudhi, the men of purified intellect. Bhogta, the enjoyer. Dugda, Dugdam, the milk. Gita, Amritam, Amrit is nectar. Mahad, the supreme. All the Upanishads are the cows. The son of the cowherd, that is Krishna, is the milkman. Parth is the calf. Men of purified intellect are the enjoyers. And the supreme nectar of the Gita is the milk. Okay, so this is what we are saying when we recite this. So we are understanding how important this Bhagavad Gita is to us. All the Upanishads together, if we study, what do we get out of it? Is given in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so milking needs at least a cow, a calf, and a milkman. So calf is the Arjun, okay, in this one. So milkman is Lord Krishna. He is bringing the milk of the Upanishads for Arjun, and through Arjun we get it too. It's not just for Arjun alone. So the very source of our scriptures of knowledge is the Upanishads. That's why when we study the Upanishads, we see a lot of verses, a lot of ideas are the same. Language changes a little bit, the style changes a little bit, but the message is the same. So the raw material for the seers of the Upanishads was but the sapless and colorless experience of ordinary everyday life. So they experienced that. And their experience, they put it in the Upanishads. Because during the moments of their contemplation, that wisdom, the spark of the wisdom shines. And that spark of the wisdom, they put it in the words for us. Those are the Upanishadic mantras. So, so milk is a food that is very nutritive, healthy for everybody. A little baby drinks the milk and becomes strong, big. These days, sure, people say that we cannot digest the milk because purity of the milk is gone. But a pure milk without hormones, without any kind of a extra treatment, milk is good for everybody. So that's why over here symbolically he's talking about milk, the knowledge, which is good for everybody, not just only for a select few. So it's universal. So when we say milk, it's universal. So it's a universal knowledge. And even though cow, due to its love for the calf, pours out her best, but after the calf gets the milk, it's given to other people also. We all enjoy that milk. Similarly, over here, the Upanishadic milk, which was given to Arjuna by Lord Krishna, but we are enjoying it too, even after thousands of years. So it's a universal message over here. Universality of the Gita is so beautifully brought out in this verse over here. You don't have to be belong to a certain caste or certain gender or certain religion. The philosophy of Gita can develop our personality no matter what we do, where we are, how we live. It will help us. It is a universal scripture. All men who are sincere, who are intelligent enough to perceive their own imperfections, and when courageously they follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they will see the blessing of the Bhagavad Gita coming into their personality. Okay, so this term over here, Upanishad, and the cows and the calf is for the universality of the Bhagavad Gita, universal message. Now in the next verse, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Lord Krishna's father. Sut means son, the son of Vasudeva. And Devam means God. Kans Chanur Mardhanam, the destroyer of Kans and Chanur. Okay, Kans we know. Lord Krishna's uncle, maternal uncle, and Chanur was his the right hand man, Chanur. Devaki Paramanandam, the supreme bliss of Devaki. Devaki is the mother of the birth mother. These are the birth father and birth mother of Lord Krishna. Krishnam to Krishna. Anandam means bliss, the supreme bliss of Devaki. And to Krishna, one day I salute Jagat Gurum, the world teacher. So I salute Lord Krishna, the teacher of the universe, the divine son of Vasudev, the destroyer of Kans and Chanur, the supreme joy of Devaki. So over here we see the continuation of our salutations to the teacher of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna. Okay? A simple glorification of the parents also over here. And we know the stories about his uncle, what kind of a demon he was. And Chanur was no less. They both were equally bad. Okay? And the term Dev in Sanskrit indicates that which illumines. It's like a concept of illumination. Okay? Principle of light. Then let's look at the next verse, number 6. Bhisham Dron Tata. Tat means the banks. With the Bhishma and Dron as its banks. Jayadrath Jala. Jayadrath as its water. Gandhar Nilotpala. With the king of Gandhar as a dark blue rock. So these are all the names given over there, the people who were the mighty warriors in Kaurva side. And next week, when I tell you the Mahabharata story, you will know what these people were. Shalye Grahvati. Shalye as the shark. Kripen Vahane. Krip as the current. Okay, Kripacharya. Karnen Vela Kula. Karan as the breaker. Ashabtham Vikaran Ghor Makra. Makar is a crocodile. So Ashwatham and Vikaran as the terrible crocodiles. Duryodhan Avartane. Duryodhan as the whirlpool in it. Sa means that Utirna crossed over. Khalu means indeed Pandavai by the Pandavas. Ran Nadi, the river. Run means battle, so there's a river battle. Kevartaka as a ferryman. Keshva, Krishna. The river of battle with Bhishma and Drona as the banks, with Jayadrath as its water, with the king of Gandhar as a dark blue rock, Shalya as the shark, Krip as the current, Karan as the breaker, Ashwatham and Vikaran as the terrible crocodiles, Duryodhan as the whirlpool in it, was indeed crossed over by the Pandavas, with the Keshav as the ferryman. So when you have a God, a guru as your ferryman, no matter how many obstacles there are. So it's a river full of currents, full of rocks, full of whirlpools, with all those mighty warriors. Still Lord Krishna, with the help of Lord Krishna, Pandavas, they won. So taking refuge in a God, taking refuge in a guru. So the entire Mahabharata has been brought into the mental vision of the meditator when we recite this. Because for an average man, average person, every moment of our life, there is this challenge or some other challenge. But if we hold on to the feet of God or our Guru, have faith in it, we can cross over too. This is the message we get from here. No matter how ferocious or threatening the river of life is. So having faith, so these kind of verses, they just encourage us to keep on having the faith in God. Okay, so whether it was a Jayadrath or whether it was a Dronacharya, all those people, they were mighty powerful. It was very hard to conquer them. For even the Pandavas, even though they were also very powerful, but the number of the people were more in the Kaurva side and all these warriors. So Lord Krishna. So it's like a practical and the usefulness of the surrender to God is mentioned in this verse. It's not that Pandavas didn't have to wage the war. They had to wage the war. They had to work hard, but under the protection of Krishna, their Guru, their God. Now let's look at number 7. Parasharye Vachasarojam. Born in the waters of the words of the son of Parashar. Son of Parashar is who? Vyasa. So Vyasji's father's name is Rishi Parashar. Okay. Vacha. Vacha means the words. So Saroj, that is a water. So born in the waters of the words of the son of Prasha. Amalam, stainless, spotless. Gita Arth Gandh Uttakam. The sweet and pleasant fragrance of the significance of Gita. Nana Akhyanak Kesaram. With many narratives as its inner soft petals. Kesar. Kesar is over here means soft petals. So many narratives with its inner soft petals. Hari Katha Sambodhan Abodhitam, fully blossomed by the stories of Hari. Loke in the world. Sajjan Shatpada Ah. By the six-footed honeybees. Means day by day. Okay? Six-footed honeybee. Pepiye manam means drunk. Muda means joyously. Bhuyat, maybe. Bharat Pankajam, the lotus of Mahabharata. Kalimal Pardhwansane, who are eager to destroy and safely come out of the inner imperfections of Kali Yoga. Kalimal Pardhwansane, Shreyase, for the supreme good. May the spotless lotus of the Mahabharata, born in the water of the words of the son of Prashar, Shri Vyas, having for its sweet and pleasant fragrance the significance of Gita, with many narratives as its inner soft petals, fully blossomed by the stories of Hari, and joyously drunk day after day by the six-footed honeybees. And what is this? Six-footed honeybees? Five senses and one mind. That's a six. So, Shat Paday. The good men of the world, be productive of the supreme good to us who are eager to enjoy or eager to destroy and safely come out of the inner imperfections of the iron age. Okay, Kalimal. Kalimal is this Kali Yuga, imperfections of the Kali Yuga. There is a lot of bombardment of the materialism in Kali Yuga. Maya is very thick in Kali Yuga. There's a lot more Rajsikta and the Tamsikta in Kali Yuga. So we are saying that may God help us to get out of this Kali Yuga so that we can move towards the right direction. Okay. So, so the devotees who are desiring of achieving the ultimate goal are singing these verses. That even though my senses, my mind, it's drawn towards this material world, but please, God, help me. This is the real meaning of Gita, true significance of Bhagavad Gita. Lot of symbol of beauty and symbol of auspiciousness in these verses we are understanding. Number 8, Mukam Karoti Vachalam. Mook is a dumb, mute, Mukam. Karoti makes. Vachalam, eloquent. Pangum, the cripple. Langyate, crosses. Girim, mountain. Yat kripa, whose grace. Tam means that. Aham, I. Vande, salute. Paramanand Madhavam, the supreme bliss. Madhav. Madhav word is used for Lord Krishna. Madhav. I salute that supreme bliss. Madhav, whose grace renders the mute eloquent and the cripple cross mountains. It's a prayer to Lord Krishna. It's like with God's grace, nothing is impossible for a devotee in this world. That's what we are saying. Even the dumb can come to discover speech, and the lame may easily cross over mountains. That's what we are saying here. But there is still a deeper meaning. It's not just a physically not being able to speak or cross the mountains. First of all, this Madhav word is, see, what is a Madhu? Madhu in the Vedic symbolism means karam of phal, the fruit of the action, impressions of our past actions. So Madhav means that which is experienced beyond the fruits. Madhav, Paramanand Madhavam. And then subjectively, if you look at it, the way our inner composition and structure is, at present we are all lame. Because what is the leg of our personality? Legs of our personality is mind and intellect. So mind and intellect, they need to be the similar strength. Otherwise, there is a maladjustment in our mind. That's why sometimes we see there's a limping personality, not a very coherent thinking. A man of perfection is he who has, during his self-development and training, brought out harmonious development in the emotional as well as intellectual equipments. Otherwise, we are lame. So we are saying, God, you are the one who's going to bring us to that level where we have a fully harmonized personality. Because you are the one who have given us these instruments, our mind also, our intellect also, and we need to strengthen both of them, purify both of them. So that's what we are saying over here. It's not the physical legs, but and it's not just the fruits of our actions for ourselves. We got to rise above all this. So mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langyate giram. Okay, so let's look at the last one, number 9. Over here, the salutations to God. Again, Yam Brahmaha Varunaha Indra Rudraha. These are the names of God. Brahma, the creator. Varun, Indra, Rudra. Yam means whom. Marut, Stunvanti praises. Divya by divine. Satvai by hymns. Vedai by Vedas. Sa Ang Pad Kram Upanishadai. With their angs as the methods by the Upanishads. So Ang Pad Kram Upanishadai. Gayanti, invoke or sing. Yam means whom, Samga, singer of the Psalm songs, the summons. You all know the 4 Vedas, Psalm Ved is one of them. So summons. Dhyan avasthit tadgaten manasa, with their mind absorbed in the goal of their contemplation through perfect meditation. Pashyanti, see, and this see means realize. Yam means whom, yogina, the yogis. Yasya means whose, antam means end. Na is not, vidu, no. Sur Asur Gana, the hosts of Devas and Asurs. Devai, God. Tasmai, to that Namaha, salutation. So salutations to God, whom the creator, Brahmaji, Lord Varun, Lord Indra, Lord Rudra, the Lord of the Maruts, invoke with their divine hymns. So that means all the Devatas, they are singing the hymns to Lord Himself. There's only one God. Rest are just powers of God, whom the singers of psalm songs invoke through their correct and appropriate chantings, whom the yogis realize with their minds, absorbed in the goal of their contemplation through perfect meditation. So when we meditate, when we are invoking to that higher power, that is godly power. That is God. And whose limits are not known, even to the denizens of the heavens or to the asurs of the nether kingdom. So Devata or the asurs, they really don't know the powers of God, the infiniteness of God. So we are saluting. Basically, what we are saying, I salute to you, God. In our deep meditations also, in our prayers also, in our quiet moments also, we are just showing our love and our adoration to that God. Because the extent of the infinite can never be comprehended. Mind is limited. It can be indicated only through the suggestive terms. And that's what these verses are saying. It's giving us the suggestiveness of this God. And towards the end, we always do that Shanti Path. Purnam Ada, Purnam Idam, Purnat Purnam Udachyate, Purnasya Purnam Adai, Purnam Eva Vishishyate, Purnam whole. That means complete, whole. WHOLE. Adaha, that. Purnam whole. Idam, this. Purnat, from the whole. Purnam whole. Udachyate, becomes manifest. Purnasya, of the whole. Purnam whole, Adai, having taken. Purnam whole, Ev means alone. Avshishyate, remains. That is whole. That means God is whole. God is complete. This world is the whole. From God who is infinite, this world becomes manifest. From infinity, even if the whole is taken away, what remains is again the whole. So again, this is a glorification of God Himself. Because we know that this world which we see is infinite, beginningless, endless. It has countless cosmoses, goes on forever and forever. So that's why surely one who has created this world too must be infinite. Creator has to be bigger than the creation. Because how can a small, limited, finite being create that which is infinite? It's not possible. So the whole world has come from the omniscient. That means all knowledge, omnipotent, all strength, all pervading infinite truth. Commonly we call it God. But then the question is, did God become any less or tired or limited after He created the world? Because the very sight of this creation reminds us of the unimaginable power. At night when we look up, or when we even just look at ocean, which is only a small portion, like a drop of water, how immense this creation is. And then again, when we see this verse through our knowledge of numbers, the world is infinite, so God too is infinite. From the infinite God, the finite world, if we say that has emerged, does that mean that God is reduced to zero after creation? Normally, when we subtract something, 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. But is infinite, is it a number? We all know infinity is not a number, but goes beyond numbers, beyond countable quantity. Cannot count it. So that's why this verse is telling us how God is infinite, His creation is infinite, and the world we see is proof of that. Infinite time and space. Objects can appear from the infinite God, but He never gets reduced even a little. So when we say something like that towards the end, we are showing our own reverence, our own surrender. God, you are infinite. We are just only a small particle of you. Please accept us. We want to merge in you. Okay? So, and then at the end we say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please, God, you are the one who can give us the peace. And you are all familiar with why 3 times. We want to be peaceful at the physical level. Okay? Peaceful at the mental level. And peaceful at the intellectual level. Atma is always peaceful. By definition, it's peaceful. It can never be unpeaceful. But our personality, the layers of the personality, they just become unpeaceful. And we are saying, God, please help us. We'll do our part. We'll definitely do our duties because that's what we're going to be learning from Bhagavad Gita. Doing our duties is very, very important. But then we need the blessings of God also. So we'll stop it here today. And the next week, we'll start with the story of Mahabharata and then start our Bhagavad Gita verses also. So any question?